Hello, my friends. If you missed it last night, found this in my change. It's a common date starting out window, so it's going to be going back to circulation. Now, I was talking to Addicted to Minis. I'm loving it. A guy who has a channel on one of his videos, or maybe it was mine, in the comments section talking about 1 gram silver pieces. And I told him I have a few more. I'm going to show them first. That's a Swiss made 1 gram silver. These, though, and then this, which is the great state of Florida, alligator. And gold, silver, Naples, 3/9 fine, 1 gram gator. Those are neat. But these square ones like this, one, I have a couple of them loose like this, actually come in a piece that you can break apart. I have one that is 5 of them that isn't broken apart. Now, 1 gram silver, kind of neat, but they're really, unless you can get them really cheap, which I did at the time. I bought these. Silver was around $30-something, and I got them at 10 grams worth for $1 per gram, which is a pretty good price. Now, a lot of you've seen these boxes that people will store stuff in, mainly stuff like coins, and they'll usually have their coins in card mounts. But I wanted to show this. This is a Civil War love token, although proving when it was made. Well, it's not Civil War because it's 1877, but hello, Littlefoot. Now, I also have this half dime right here. It's got a hole knocked in it. And this Seated Liberty coin that is it's a dime, but it's extremely worn out. And it's one of the older ones. You can tell because there's still stars on it. If I can get the light to hit it right. Yeah, you can see the stars. You see the stars is the older one. Now, hello, Liberty bleeds silver. All right, we're going to show this coin. It's a Barber $50, 1913. Look at it really close, 1913. It is worn, scratched up, but there's a reason why this is going into the better coin box. Now, it looks like, to me, the rim is full all the way around. And if it would straight grade, although that's hard to tell with these things, you're probably talking about good 4. Maybe, possibly good 6. But there is a reason why this is a better coin. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to research. But 1913. Now, it's not all, though, because I was pretty lucky. This one is 1915. And it too seems to have a pretty well full rim on the front. It's a slight nick on the rim, ding. All right, the back, a little bit more worn maybe. But you can kind of see a little rim damage there. But you can kind of see that this, and scratches, but this particular coin also has a reason why it's going in the better coin box. I'm not going to tell you. I want you to research them. So 1915 Philadelphia and 1913 Philadelphia Barber half dollars. Now there is reasons why I have this better coin box. And we're going to go ahead and show this coin. This 1930 and this is supposedly AU. It's 1930. Yes, at least that's what someone wrote on it. You can see there's mint luster on the coin. You can see details on it that there are some flattening. So I'm not sure if this is actually AU, because AU is barely anywhere. This might be like choice extra fine or something, but it is easily the nicest looking Standing Liberty. Yeah, hello Addicted to Minis. This isn't the one I just got today. I've had this one for a while. This is from my Better Stuff box. What I'm talking about, I know you don't like this design. 1913 Barber half dollar. Philadelphia. Look at it again. There's a reason why this is going into the better coin box. Not going to say why, but I'm going to let you go ahead and look it up and you'll see why. I think this would probably grade good 4 at least, maybe good 6, if it didn't get like details cleaned or something. This one, 1915 Philadelphia. It's a little worn too, but you know, happens. They were used. This is also going in the better coins box because it's got a reason. I don't want to spell it out. What? This? Well, it says 78. It's really was 75. But I'm not sure I totally agree with the AU because it seems like there's too much flattening on it. It is really the best looking Standing Liberty quarter I have, though. Bar none. What was the number of coins Barber had at once? 4? No, they only had dimes, quarters, and half dollars. That's all the Barbers there were. Now, this particular box of coins has no dollar coins in it. It's not for that purpose. It's just some nicer coins that I decided needed to go in here. And I'll show you a couple other examples. Rarities. 1932. This is Denver. Anybody knows anything about this particular coin knows it's a really low, very low. Oh, you can see this wasn't cheap. Very low mintage. Oh, where did the Standing Liberty get off to? It was just here. Oh, I put it back in the box. $75 when I bought it. And then you get the other one, the 32S, which is also really low mintage. Both the D and S are the key dates of the Washington quarters. Both were only minted in around 400,000, which is pretty low. Then we look at this again, 1915 Barber, 1913 Barber. Oh yeah, well they didn't make any that year. Now, this is a little bit older one, and you can see mint luster on it pretty well. It's a 41S. This is one of those kind of coins that it's starting to get older, and you can see mint luster all across the coin, so it's graded. It might possibly grade mint state. And you can see why it's in the better coin box. It's a really nice looking coin. I do have this 39 Denver Walking Liberty, which is barely worn. You can see part of the face on it. You can see the outline of the right by the ear. The eagle looks nice in the back. Slight wear right across the top of the coin, but it's a nice one. And I always tell myself I need to start flattening staples on stuff like this, because this is the kind of box you don't want the staple scraping coins. Even though this is not a real low mintage one. This 1970 Denver, the lowest mint of all the 40% coins, the Kennedy halves, that is. If I remember correctly, this one's a little over 2 million were made. An S proof, which I have some of, they made quite a bit. Now this is a really nice one because you can see mint luster all the way around it. It is a good coin. But these are in here because they're higher value coins or much better conditioned. Also, and this is a bunch of seated Liberty coins. Let's go back in the box and pull a couple more. Since I'm flattening staples, might as well continue. Alright, we'll show you this one. It's a 29D. Someone put VF on it. You can see details, not quite as much as that 1930S. And the mint mark is kind of blobby. It doesn't take much to start wearing these coins down. But it's a pretty good conditioned one. Don't have to worry about flattening staples because it's already done. 29S just says VG. It's not super low mintage and it's worn a bit more. It was only $10 at the time, which was probably about 2 times its melt value. This one was also $11. It says very fine. It's a 30S, which is not quite as nice as that other one. You can see the flat wear on the foot and the leg, up the knee, the head, chest, shield, all starting to wear flat. But it is a nice looking standing Liberty quarter, much better than a lot of them I have. Just a more common date one. Alright, there's the nicer one. Well, look at it. It's not quite as flat, but it is flattened. You see the S right there. You can see the little dot holes in between the S part. Part of the face is visible. The shield, you can see the detail on it. Very slight flattening of the head and the top of the shield in the other spot. and the leg too. That's a nice coin. I was happy to get it. So these all go back in the box. Staples flattened. Let's look at a few more back here. I can't even totally remember what all's in it. All right. A little bit nicer condition Barber 20 quarter. You can see some flattening on it, but you can see all the little nodules around the coin pretty solid, and on the back as well. I'd probably say this has been cleaned at one point. There's pretty good detail left on this one, so that's nice. 1909 Orleans. If you know your Barbers, you know this is a pretty nice one. Survivability is pretty low. It's the last year of the Orleans mint. All right, let's look at a couple other ones. I'll have a few more standing liberties in here. Finding these older ones with some of the date left on is not real easy. The 1, 9, and 2 is worn more than the O is. $9 at the time. These were $5 or $6. All right. There's a 28 and a 29 Denver. The 29 Denver says fine condition. The D's pretty nice. A little more flattening on it. $9 isn't terribly expensive. That one, someone tore off the corner and then wrote 20. Someone wrote VF on it. 1928. It's a nice looking coin, but kind of thinking this Denver one actually looks better than it, though, in terms of details, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? And if Addicted to Minis is still here, get yourself a loop. You can kind of see what you can do with a loop. That if you trust your camera like this and try to zoom in and then keep it focused, it's not real easy. So I think we are pretty close back to about the normal size, maybe. That's why I don't like really playing around with that part. All right, let's put, oh, this one needs flattened. By the way, this is Stanley Pliers. Stanley, we hope you do things right. All right, let's work these back in to their order, which goes there. Now let's look at this one. 1914 Barber, quarter. The nodules are pretty solid all the way around. And on the back, a little bit of the shield design still left. It's in pretty good shape. It is getting towards the end of the Barber quarters, which I think was 1915. Little bottle top bandit. Here's my new coin. 1913, Philadelphia. And this is going into the better coin box. And so is this one. And for good reason that I'm not going to tell anybody. in this video. I want you to research it and you'll see why these are going into that box. Alright, this is still not quite down all the way, and it's hard. Once you start messing with that, it gets hard to put it back the way it was. Alright, that's those. Let's pull out a few more coins and have a look at some of these. And put these other ones back in so the coins stay in some kind of semblance of order. Alright, we'll just look at what's in here. 1912 San Francisco, 20 bucks. The melt on this is getting close to that. And there's why this one's a little bit better date. That's the mintage number. S Mint. That's kind of nice. Well, this one's a little bit nicer date for Mercury dimes. There's a slight bland look to it. You can see some mint luster. And it's got pretty good details left, but it does look like, I'm guessing some cleaning was done on this. Alright. 21. 21. Another 21. I managed to get 3 of these, which, if I remember correctly, the 21 dime is a little over 1 million were made. Pretty nice. Now, you're not going to see a much nicer looking barber dime very often. They were used. This one's a dazzler for sure. If you were ever going to like the barber design, it's a coin like this that will kind of make you like it. I just respect the fact that this thing somehow, because they made these for up to 1916 on the dime, so 8 more years of making them, and yet this one remained untouched for some reason. It's a really nice one. And then this, when it comes to Mercury dimes, this one's quite a dazzler too. It does not appear like it's had any wear and tear. It has a few bag marks, little scratches. There's a decent scratch right up there by the top of the center line stick thing. See a little mark going at a diagonal on it. But this is a really nice looking dime. I had to have it. And the thing about it was, when I bought this, I showed it to the couple guys that oftentimes bought coins when I was buying coins, and asked them what they thought about this one. And they both asked me if I was going to buy it. So that told me I needed to buy it. Now, unfortunately, 39D is a very common year, so this thing would have to grade like mint state 66 plus or better to really make it even worth trying to grade. And I blocked off the price on this one just because I wanted people to guess what looks like to me a mint state barber dime should cost, because they circulated them a lot. So actually this is a little bit out of order, at least for these. Drop all these back in the proper order, and then 1917 type 1. You can see the date's pretty good on this. A little bit of damage. which is a shame because, of course, $9 wasn't a very high price. So we kind of put that quarter back where it was. Actually, it needs to go there. $1906. Orleans. This one's a pretty solid good 4, I believe. Both sides, the rims are not, of course there is a little bit of marks there and a little splotch, might be magic marker. It's a pretty nice looking one otherwise. All right, we worked these back into the box the way they were. Why the Barber halves were in front of the Barber quarters in this, who knows. All right. I think it's because I separated them by types. That one's not too bad looking. 1916. Does have some dirt on it. And I think the plastic's torn there. That's why it looks that way. This is just a darker coin overall. The nodules around the rim are pretty good though. Looks like they're pretty good on both sides. So it's a pretty solid one. All right. Then we got a few other Barber dimes that are in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, they made these for part of the year, and then they made the Standing Liberty quarter towards the end of the year, I guess, because 1916. All right. Let's look at some of these. Orleans, 1909. Last year they made a dime or a quarter or a $half at New Orleans. This one's in pretty good shape. Just wish the quarter was. Of course, it would have been more. This is 1910, Philadelphia, which looks pretty good. This says 650. I can see most of Liberty on it. It probably would be more today. All right, someone wrote extra fine on this one. Have a look at Liberty. You can read all of it. Pretty good rims. The nodules are not really worn. So I might tend to agree with them giving this extra fine, but it'd probably be details because it kind of looks like someone done some cleaning to it at some point. This one says F for fine, 1916, last year, the Barber dime. You can read Liberty, although it looks like a couple of the letters might be a little weak. One dime. And that's a pretty nice one. So, kind of sum all these up. And kind of put them back in the box. Put them there. Pull out the last couple coins in this. These are all seeded $50, which I have quite a few more of them in here than I thought I did. Alright, that's how many I have in my better coins box. Looks like 7 total. I'm going to start with the first one. 1843. Kind of looks like it got scraped right there a little. The plastic is ripped. The back doesn't look too bad. It's a nice looking eagle. $48. These things aren't very cheap even when they are worn some. Now, this is a nice one. 1 year design, 1853, with arrows and rays. And I love the rays on this. To me, it's the best design out of all these seeded Liberty coins. So much so I'd kind of wish they'd made them on more. Might have made them a little bit more collectible. And the staples don't seem to be really flat. Really nice looking coin. This 1854 is worn quite a bit. Not as nice. The back doesn't look super bad. The front is really starting to go away right there and on towards the date a little. But these seeded halves are a little bit harder to find in great shape and at a price you can really feel like you can afford. Obviously they're not as bad as the dollar ones, but okay. 1855 with arrows. Little gash right there. It's not real bad, but the back looks much better than the front. Orleans. In fact, except for that little divot, I'd go so far as to say if the front looked as nice as the back, this one probably would have been much more than this. Alright, 1856 Orleans. It's a bit worn, but it doesn't look too bad. There's the O for Orleans. Nice looking eagle, a little bit worn. But that happens. Now this one, they put VG/F, so it's right around there. Or at least that's what they're saying. 1860. Liberty is strong enough to read. Well, the B, E, and R are a little bit weak. See the ear and the eye and the line for the mouth. Some design is left on it. Some of the design, that is. The eagle, you can see quite a bit of the feathers and stuff. This one's not bad. It's a $65 coin, and at the time I bought it was the first time I'd spent more than $50 on a coin. This one's just a worn out one that's really not that special. 1873 with arrows. Somewhere I have a seeded $50 that's a Carson City one, but it's not in this box for some reason, and it should be. I mean, if it's the better coins box, you would think it would be in here, but it isn't. Let's look at some seeded quarters, shall we? And The other thing that's kind of nice. Oh, what did I do? All right, this one. This is a 20-cent coin, 1875, San Francisco, 20 cents. Kind of rough, kind of worn, but if you're going to get a nice one of these, you're going to pay a lot more than that. I thought I had these down better. Now, one thing about this, it's a little bit smaller than a quarter. This is a quarter card. It's not in it straight, up and down, but what can you do? But like I said, if it was in a lot better shape, it would have been a lot more money. All right, 1853 with arrows, quarter. Again, the arrows from behind the eagle. Love that design. This one I bought a while back, $7. It would probably be more today, but does have a bit of damage. You can see. These staples have not been flattened. We're going to fix that. Not a bad coin, but it is worn. All right, this one, 1876. You can see parts of Liberty and stars. Here's the thing about this one that gets it in here. CC, Carson City. $45 when I bought it, though. And because this is a lot of Seated Liberty coins, this one, $3.50. That's like half a melt and then some of right now with $50 silver. 1876, worn out pretty bad, but at $3.50, why not get it? But the thing about this one was, I had bought a lot of quarters and forgot I even bought this one. Did not know I had it until I was digging through some of my stuff to sort it better. All right, this one, 1876. Pretty nice condition on this one. Liberty's pretty strong. It's a pretty nice Seated Liberty coin. It's really nice, actually. A little bit of scratches there, but what can you do? And a bit of a ring chip. A rim chip, I mean. That's a pretty nice looking quarter, though. This one, 1877, says $6. Bid 20 in good. This isn't quite in good condition, though. Flatten some more staples. Not too bad. But again, we get back to these. Go ahead and look up 1913 Philadelphia Barber half and 1915 Barber half. Both Philadelphias. If it was a mint mark, it'd be right down there by the DO, below the tail of the eagle. These are easily coins that will be in this box because of a certain reason. I'm not going to say what it is. You can look it up and you'll see why. All right, so we look at some Carson City dimes. Before we do, got this one at a coin show. Pretty nice condition, a little dark, a little toning. 1887. San Francisco. But in that condition, it's one of the nicer looking seated coins I have in the dimes. I do have one that is a bit more worn, that is the same one. 1887. It says someone wrote Full Liberty, but the TY is just about gone, especially the Y. And the LI is pretty weak, but the BER is pretty strong. San Francisco, just like that one, but not near as nice. Alright, we get these back where they were. And we move on to the Carson City dimes. Alright. This one, a bit worn, 1875, but again, this is all about the fact that it says CC and it's inside the reef. Pretty nice coin. This one is another 1875. A little bit better detail, although it's quite worn too. And the CC inside the reef. And then this one, which doesn't have a price on the front. It's in significantly better condition than them other two, in my opinion, except for that rim ding, but it's got better details. CC inside the reef, real clear. Alright, what about this? 1876. This time the Carson City's down on the rim. It's a nice one though. Alright, this is San Francisco from around the same time frame. This is pretty worn. In fact, the whole coin is kind of worn. I'm not so sure I'm agreeing with the VG on it, except for the fact that you can pretty much read Liberty on it. And these, some of these are only in here because they're seated coins, which I considered better coins, period. Just because for the longest time it was not very easy to find any. And then I started finding them a lot more often. Alright. That's a nice looking 1876. That's just Philadelphia though. We get to the other Carson City dime. Now this one's damaged. Someone kind of bent the coin. CC's below the reef. That is a nice looking dime otherwise. $8 for Carson City dime. I don't care that it's damaged. I would definitely buy that again. This is the same one, same issue, same year. You can read Liberty. And you can see the CC, Carson City. It's a fairly nice one. Now, we work these back where they were. Actually, I think somehow a couple of these got mixed up in order, but that's okay. Let's look at a couple other things and why they're in the better coin box. 1857, Someone wrote VF on this. It's a Flying Eagle. A little wear, but not terrible. It's actually pretty nice. But this one's even nicer. Well, no, it isn't. That one's the nicer of the two. 1858. I thought this one was the better of the two, but it's the 57. I think. Oh, yeah. This is kind of neat, too. Does have that on it, but it is 1833 cap bust dime. Pretty old, quite worn on the back. Seemingly a little less on the front. That's kind of nice. That's why that's in there. All right, these two seated dimes I got. They're very worn, but I believe I got these pretty close to melt. That's 1839. That one's 1838. So they're going back a ways. I even have an error coin. This dime was struck so far off the center you can't even see what year it was. But in terms of error coins, this is what you call an undeniable error coin. It kind of looks like, it's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it might have red, so it's a more modern. It'd be what they call a sandwich coin, or 1965 or sooner. But so we kind of slip that back there and talk about this real quick. All right, someone asked about Morgan dollars. I wasn't even talking about them tonight. The melt on a Morgan dollar at $50 silver is about $40 almost, or reached nearly $40. It's like actually 36 and a half or something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but your Morgan dollar 1897 better grade is probably going to be worth a bit more than that. A lot better grade could be worth a heck of a lot. Let's have a quick look. Wasn't talking about Morgan dollars, but we can consult the red book and go down to the dollar coins. Oh, you said 1887. And you didn't specify whether it was Orleans or not. 1887, Philadelphia, they made 20 million of them. Unless it's a mint state coin, it's not a particularly great coin, according to this red book, which is a few years old. We'll go ahead and show. You see 1887, 20 million were made. $165. Now, the proof, that's different. Then that other one is the 7/6. This red book shows you there. It's a faint but raised portion right off of that 7's tail. Yeah, 1887. The Orleans, they made quite a bit, and the San Francisco's much. Oh, did he say 1890? Oh, it is 97. I thought it said 87. 1897, Philadelphia. About Around 3 million were made. Mint State 65 coins 330. It's the Orleans you want that's going to be nicer. If it's Mint State 65, it's $65,000 coin according to this. And this is an outdated red book by a few years. The or San Francisco Mint they made more of. But you can see the Orleans Mint, as it gets to Mint State, goes way up, and the San Francisco's about twice as valuable at most of the price points than what the Philadelphia one is. The 1895 Orleans Mint, though, that's one you kind of want, along with the 93S. I mean, Mint State 65 wins 200,000, and then that is the 96 Orleans. It's 175. Those are all ones you really want, along with the 84S in Mint State and the 1886 Orleans in Mint State. If you had all them and say you inherited them, they were graded, you're looking at a pretty good inheritance. But been on for a while and talked about the Better Coins box, which isn't dollar ones though. The Morgans, they're in their own separate box. And I have a few that can't be put in the box because they're in grading case or slabs. Yeah. Look up your 1913 Philadelphia Barber and the 1915 Barber. These are both about good condition. They're not graded, they're loose coins or raw, but they are pretty nice coins, and they will go in that box. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good night. I've been on for almost an hour. I got stuff to do, so we're going to put all the stuff back up. And one last thing. When you go by a Coinstar, always look. You never know what you might find. This 1954 dime was in the reject. This is a silver dime. 64 is the last year they made silver dimes like this, for circulation anyway. In 65 they would be copper nickel. All the US coins would be, except for the Kennedy halves, which they made in the Ike dollars, they made in 40% for a while. But these I was very happy to get, and they're going to go in this box. For now, I'm just going to put them there, and we'll show you what I mean. Right on top of the box. I don't feel like slotting them in. I might have to take a couple of coins out that aren't so good to make room for them. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have for tonight. And I don't usually recommend buying 1 gram bars like this, but I was able to get these at melt value, that or these rounds. But I was able to get these at melt value, so I was happy to get them. Somebody had brought into the coin dealer I want to say about 5 or 6 ounces worth of these, and he picked out a few, and he put all the rest in a bag where it equaled out to whatever, I think it's 4 or 5 ounces worth of them, and put a price on it. But he picked these out because it was a little over, make it uneven amount. He likes to sell his stuff. If he's selling ounces of silver, he wants to sell 5 ounces, 4 ounces. And if you got 5.2, 5, and actually close to a third, because there's 10 of those, and it's 31 grams to make 0.1 to make an ounce. So you'd need 31 of these pieces, and you'd be at about an ounce. But I didn't break these 5 apart because I thought it was kind of neat to get them not broken apart. That's pretty much all I have. I hope that everyone has a good night, and we will talk at you next time, because it's getting late and I got stuff to do. We return these to the bag. I also see on the bag the price that I actually paid for them. It was close to melt, but it actually says $1.25 each. I forgot how much they were, but that'll happen. But I hope everyone has a good night, and we'll see you next time, because that's all I really have.